everybody. My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with me talking about Breaking Bad Season 4, or actually, me praising Breaking Bad Season 4. So, you finished it. I wanted to talk about it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, again, there's after this season, there's only one more season, Season 5, and then Breaking Bad is done. And then after that, yeah, Better Call Saul. So, I will watch that because I know it just recently ended, but Slipping Jimmy is not on the priority right now, as in like the show and also the person. But you know, let's talk about season 4. So one of my friends who watches the channel a lot, I told him like, yo, you should check out Breaking Bad, and he got into it, and he last time I talked to him, he was on season 4, and I haven't talked to him yet, but next time I do a review for season 5, I'll tell you guys what I learned if I did learn anything, but he loves it, and I'm loving it too. So that's awesome. But season 4, right? Season 4, where did it even begin? I guess like the first part is like season 4 picks up directly where season 3 left off, where Jesse goes to kill Gail Bedecker, and he does it. He actually does it. And then the rest of the season is impacted by that and influenced by that, but also like it's small and big ways. So Walt, what he does here is influenced by all of that. And even if it doesn't seem like it, if Gale didn't die, this would have never happened, like at all. But this season. I wasn't originally gonna say like praising it, but after some thinking, I realized that this season has some of the best episodes in the entire show up to this point. I don't want to say because Ozymandias exists and that's like the best episode of the show besides the finale. So I can't say overall, but some of the best episodes from this show come from this season. Honestly, like to me, because let me start from where in the beginning, right? The first episode of season 4. That episode was amazing. That episode was so good. Just Gus coming in to to deal with Jesse and Walt, and then having the box cutter. Like shoot, yeah, that. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And then you skip a little from like episode 2 to episode 6 because those episodes were they were all right to me. They weren't anything crazy. I did like the episode 2 where Walt purchases a gun so he can protect himself. So that's pretty cool. But besides that scene, for the most part, those episodes were alright to me. They weren't anything bad. They just weren't anything crazy compared to the other two. But then you get to like episode 7, and that had a really good scene with Jesse. And overall, just Jesse has so many scenes in this season that I'll get into later. But he got a lot. Like he got a lot. But episode 8 is for me when like the most memorable episodes start happening because episode 8 was awesome. Really had Gus's flashback in this episode, and you have Walt trying to stop Hank from going over to Boyos Hermanos to find out if Gus is the bad guy or not, and just all that building up and seeing that flashback of Gus and his brother, or not brother, but one of his friends who actually helped him start Boyos Hermanos. Like that's why it's called Boyos Hermanos because those two consider each other brothers and they make chicken, but also they sell drugs. So that whole flashback scene is amazing. I love it. And then you get to episode 9 with the bug and having the climax with Jesse and Walt fighting. Like that actually hurt me to see because as much as they didn't have the best relationship, they both care each other or care for each other. Jesse wouldn't cook without Walt, and Walt wouldn't cook without Jesse. They make sure that both of them are alive if they get into a deal. And like it wasn't like that in season 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is wholeheartedly like that. They really care for each other, and they've gone through so much stuff to just give up on each other now, even when they argue, even when they mess up, even when one of them hurts the other, they still care for each other. But they have a really messed up relationship because it's not just money, it's their lives at play that influence what they do. And their family, like Jesse with Andrea and Brock, and you have Walt with Skylar, Walt Jr., Hank, Marie, his daughter Holly, all these people. It's just so much influencing what they do, and the stress of having to fear that you're being used and you're going to die at some point. It's getting to them, and it boils over in this point because Walt doesn't know what's happening with Jesse. He's been going on with these runs for with Mike for a long time, or not a long time, but for a while now, and he doesn't know what's happening. But that's because Gus is having Walt on the back burner. He doesn't trust him anymore because of the ending of season 3, the full measures, with him running over some of his guys, and all the stuff that he's been doing. He's been acting up. So Walt is not trustworthy. Once their deal is done, it's done. But you move on to episode 10 and all that, where Gus and the cartel have had issues for a while now, and it was because of Jesse and him. Yeah, Gus and the Mexican cartel have been having problems. They've been connected for a while because Gus was the one who went to the Mexican cartel with his friend who they killed. And you actually see Hector Salamanca in that flashback, like I said before. So that's how they know each other, but also how he knows the Mexican cartel. We soon realize, it's Jesse, Gus, and Mike. They go over there, and we realize Gus is here to kill all of them, like every single one. And Mike even said himself, all of us leave or none of us leave. And that was proven true. All of them left because Gus hit one of the coldest things I've ever seen in the show. And I was drinking the poison that he was going to give to everybody except, what's his face, Jesse and Mike. And then throwing it up later, having to be admitted to one of his special hospitals that he has in the border. And once he's all good, they go to heal up Mike because, well, not heal, help Mike because he got shot as well. And now it's just Jesse and Gus walking back to Texas, which is insane, bro. Actually crazy. So that episode, Beneke. Oh my gosh, yeah, Ted Beneke, bro. Oh man. So episode 11 is a really good one as well because Skylar does something dumb. She gives Ted Beneke the money, but Ted Beneke isn't using the money to pay off the IRS since he has a lot of debts that he owes to them. And if he doesn't pay them off, since Skylar was the one that wrote those what's it called? Checks or whatever, I don't remember what they're called, but she was writing all these things for his company, and since she was the one that wrote them, it would lead an investigation to her and Walt, and that would lead to Walt being discovered, since he has such an influx of money that it would accrue suspicion. There you go, it would accrue suspicion. And since Skylar is helping out, it would all stem from her and Ted Beneke. So she tries to get him to take the money. It doesn't work. And all that's happening, Ted Beneke dies, basically. He falls and slips, kills himself by accident. Actually, yeah, this is the scene where you see Walt be like, Skylar, where's the money, Skylar? And she's like, what's happening, Walt? What? I gave it to Ted Beneke. And he's like, you gave the money to Beneke? I'm sorry, Walt, just listen. And then he just screams. And then he starts Joker laughing. But it was just genuine, actually genuine. It was so crazy. That meme is, oh man, Breaking Bad's memes are so wild out of context. But then you have episode 12 where you have the meme, call anonymously. I can't. They know me. They know my voice. They know me. Please, sir, you gotta do this for me, please. Like that meme is great, but in context is actually really messed up because he's doing that to save his family. So you have that, and then the last episode, it's killing Gus, because one thing leads to another, and we find out some very very bad things. We find out that Brock, Jesse's like, or Andrea's son, which is Jesse's girlfriend, is poisoned, and Gus, or not Gus, what's his dude's name? Walt and Jesse think that it's Gus, so they team up one last time to kill Gus, and they do it, but they do it with the help of Hector Salamanca, who was admitted to the retirement center a long time ago after Tuco died. So he did it, and they used him as bait. Walt and Hector agreed that, you hate me, but you hate Gus more. Let's kill him. And since alright, but they used Hector Salamanca to kill Gus by putting a bomb on his wheelchair. Gus comes in because Hector went to the DEA to talk to them, not to rat out Gus, but to just go over there and swear at them. But it got Gus's attention. That was the message. It sent a message, and so he did that. Gus goes over to him, and Hector activates the bomb at the retirement center, and it kills all three of them there since Gus brought one of his bodyguards. And that's the end of that. We find out that Walt was actually the one who poisoned Brock, and the reason for it was to get Jesse to cooperate. He didn't tell Jesse, but we find out because it shows the Lily of the Valley poison at his house, and that's where it ends, right? So this season has a lot, like a lot, and I want to talk about it first, like the episodes in between from like episode 2 all the way to episode 7, I think are fine. I don't think they're bad at all. I don't want to say like they're bad at all, but those episodes for me just were keeping me from calling this video like me praising Breaking Bad. But episodes 8 through 13 were the reasons why I'm even gonna say I'm praising this, because those episodes were amazing. Actually, just banger after banger after banger after banger, and the memes actually enhanced it, because if I didn't know the memes, I wouldn't have thought of anything. I thought it was just would have been great acting, and it is great acting. Walt literally having a mental shutdown at his house because Skylar gave the money to Ted Beneke, and that you call anonymously scene as well. All the scenes there, there was actually a really good scene of Walt and Walt Jr. talking to each other at his house after Jesse beat him up after they had that fight. And he was talking about how Walter never knew his father, or at least like enough to have a substantial memory of him. The only memory that he had was him in the hospital. And he was telling Walter Jr. like, yo, I don't want you to remember me like that. I don't want you to remember me as me being in a sorry state. I want you to remember me as your father, as the one that loved you as much as he could, and the one that tried to help out the family. And Walter Jr., he hits him with the I don't I don't care what I remember you as, because if I remember you with the way you are, then at least it was real. At least it wasn't a facade that you tried to put up, so I thought of you as only a good person. If I remember you like this, then at least I'll know I remembered you the real way. And that scene had me tearing up so bad, because Walter Jr. is the most loyal son you could ever have. He's not just Walt Part 2. He's legit just such a good kid. It's amazing. His actor is amazing. His loyalty is amazing. His acting is amazing. It's it's awesome. That whole scene was amazing. When they tell stories in this show, like when Mike was telling Walt about the half measures and full measures, that story was really good. The story that he just told us now was really good. Like, and just the storytelling in general in this show was really good. Vince Gilligan, bro, cracked off with a piece, bro. He's actually insane. Like, those episodes had so many good scenes in them, especially episode 1, 8 through 13. Those episodes are great. 2 through 7 had its moments for me, but they weren't. If I was just going through the season normally and 8 through 13 didn't happen. I just would have thought it was a good season, but not a great season. It probably would have been like below season 2, maybe above season 2, but not above season 3 or season. It just elevated so much. And one of the reasons why I would have praised it if 8 through 13 didn't happen was because of Jesse's storyline and all that. How killing Gil Bedecker affected him so much because he just killed a man. He actually just killed a man, and then he's had to kill multiple men in general. And that PTSD has been weighing on him for so long. It's been affecting him because he hasn't been able to talk to anybody about it. And then he goes to or not therapy, but the recovery group for drugs. How he can't tell anybody, but he tries to. How he killed the dog basically, but there's a lady in the recovery group who's like, "You killed the dog? What kind of sicko kills a dog for no reason?" And he's just like, "Yo, I'm not a good person. I've literally come to this recovery group to sell you all meth. I'm a horrible person." And he leaves and he starts recovering his relationship with Andrea and Brock, and that starts going well. But he's being used by Gus again, so that just Jesse is stuck in that cycle of I'm being used, but I love my family, but I'm being used. Like he he can't get out of it, and the only way to get out of it is to kill Gus. He's trying to keep Walt alive, but Gus is going to kill Walter eventually, especially since the DEA went to go raid the laundry that they work at to cook the meth and all that. And it's just their relationships with each other do not work at all. So Gus dying was the only way for Walt and Jesse to live. And it's that's what had to happen, and that's what did happen. So, you know, Jesse in this season went through the most character development, I think, any character besides like Walter himself, because Walter has been having that gradual change from season 1 that will continue on to season 5, where he just progresses more and more into being a cold-blooded criminal and killer that will do anything to save his own skins or cares about. And you just see that the him degrading, like changing into Heisenberg more and more. It's like, as corny as it sounds, he actually is t- two different people. Like they're basically two different people. You have Walter White, the father, and then you have Heisenberg, the criminal drug lord, who basically runs the meth empire, making multiple millions a year. And it's insane. It's actually insane considering that this man was in his underwear in an RV on the first episode. And now he's over here killing people in retirement homes. Like, such a different character. And I don't know if I mentioned that before in the last episodes, but the changes in these characters, man, like you notice them the most with Jesse and Walt. And granted, they didn't have like an episode to themselves like season 1 did, or season 2, or season 3, but in season 4 they had enough alone time together and a lot of changes in their personality and just in their characters that it didn't matter to me, because them fighting and then coming back together to kill Gus was enough for me. Like, seeing them happy together, or at least like winning together, just makes me the happiest, because that the last thing I want to see is them just fight each other when there's bigger and worse threats. MVP of this season, I have to say, is Jesse for sure. Gustavo Fring. Those two are in deep contention, but Jesse wins it out for me. Jesse wholeheartedly wins it out. And, story wise, this is the best season story wise up to this point. Like, there may not have been as much tension, or not tension, but as much action as there was before in like season 3. I'm perfectly fine with that, because the moments aren't good because of the action. The moments are good because of the tension and the build up to those moments. Like, we met Gustavo Fring in season 2, and now it's season 4 and he's dead. Like, they've been building this up for years, for seasons, and it's the payoff that's the payoff of the story, right? And it you would think like, oh, the show's over because Gustavo is dead, but no, they still have a lot. And my thing about it is actually like, how are they going to continue? Because I know how it ends, but how do they continue it in the beginning of season five? This is the final season. Like, there's nothing else after this, except Better Call Saul. But that's a whole different show that happened years later. Jeez, yeah. But I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. This season was not better than three for me, but definitely better than two. I would say for sure that if I had to rank them, I would say season three, season one, season four, and then season two being the dead bottom. And after that, it's season five, trying to rank that and seeing where I put it. But overall, if I had to give this one a ranking, I'd give this season an 8. I'd give it an 8. Just a solid 8. At its worst, it's like a 6. At its best, it's a 9. Not a 10 just yet, but it's a 9. You know, again, my favorite moments came from the scene with Walt and Walter Jr. talking, Jesse and Walter scenes with them were awesome. Seeing them go to Mexico as well was a really good scene. And just, man, that first episode, that first episode was crazy. But hope y'all enjoyed. Thank y'all for watching. This has been Infamous Isaac. I'm gonna end it here for now. And next time I talk to you guys, it will be at the end. Oh well, for like for in terms of Breaking Bad, it will be the end of season five and the end of this show, which I will have to say a lot about. I wholeheartedly have to. I've been doing this for over a month, so I owe it to him. But I'll see you all later. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.